You're gonna dig it.
Now at 10, the Supreme Court hears challenges to the restrictive Texas abortion law that allows private citizens rather than state officials to enforce the law. And Missouri sports teams lead a push to legalize sports gambling in the state.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The showdown over abortion rights in the United States once again landed on the steps of the U.S. Supreme Court today. The nation's highest court listened to arguments about the new abortion law in Texas, the strictest in the nation. So far, it's not clear whether the court will issue an order to block the 2-month-old law. Natalie Brand has more from the Supreme Court.
During 3 hours of arguments, Supreme Court justices called the Texas abortion law unprecedented and a way to circumvent Roe v. Wade.
The actual provisions in this law have prevented every woman in Texas from exercising a constitutional right as declared by this court.
There's a loophole that's been exploited here or used here.
That loophole centers around how Texas wrote the law to try and keep it out of federal courts. Instead of state officials enforcing the law, private citizens can go to state courts and sue anyone who helps perform an abortion. Fines start at $10,000. The justices also signaled concern that the new law could be used as a model for other states to restrict other constitutional rights.
And it could be free speech rights, it could be free exercise of religion rights, it could be Second Amendment rights if this position is accepted here.
Demonstrators on both sides of the issue gathered outside the court Monday.
We're excited to see a post-Roe America and be able to provide women with the resources they need to keep their children.
I would be very disappointed if we went back before Roe versus Wade. Very, very disappointed.
While Monday's arguments centered around legal procedure, 1 month from today, justices will hear arguments on a case that is asking the High Court to overturn Roe v. Wade and allow Mississippi's 15-week ban on abortion. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
The Texas abortion law prohibits abortions when a fetal heartbeat is detected about 6 weeks after conception and sometimes before a woman even realizes she's pregnant. It is cold and it is damp out there, Nick Kelly.
A complete 180 from the nice Halloween we had right at the weekend, Al. We are socked in with the clouds still, but even though the roads are wet at 7th and Range Line at the top of the 10 o'clock hour, we're not adding to the rain as we go into the overnight hours ahead of us, but temperatures just couldn't go anywhere today. Started out at 40, only made it to 45 at Joplin Regional. In fact, most of us held to make do with mid, maybe a couple upper 40s in spots. We're getting a bit of a lull in the rain chances now, maybe a few straggling little showers around Table Rock Lake and Grand Lake, especially the southern shores. But as one upper wave that brought the rain today clears out, we got another one on the way that wants to bring rain chances back in as we go throughout the day tomorrow. In the short term, though, we're in the upper 30s to lower 40s. I don't see us budging very much as we go throughout the course of the night, even though we keep things dry. Lows will start at 39, and we'll go right back to about 48 tomorrow before more rain works in during the afternoon. Dow, we'll see what we can get out of this rut in our forecast coming up in a bit.
Joplin police released the name of an assault suspect who was shot and killed by police. Police identified the suspect as 41-year-old Carl Junction resident Joseph Endicott. The JPD says he was shot by officers responding to a call from a victim who says they were being attacked by a man with a weapon. Police have not said just what led to the shooting. Endicott died. No officers were hurt. The officers involved have been placed on administrative leave. The city of Oronogo, Missouri, is asking residents to approve the sale of its natural gas system tomorrow. Voters will decide whether to approve the sale of the city's natural gas system to Spire for $620,000. One of the reasons the city wants to sell the utility is maintenance costs. Oronogo's mayor says when it comes to billing, residents should not see any significant changes.
The bills will be very similar in pricing, where our bills change month to month based on spot prices of natural gas. Spires is regulated by the state, and so they can't change prices as often as we have to based on pricing.
Polls open tomorrow morning at 7, and we're going to have complete election results on KOAM News. Missouri sports teams want voters to weigh in on whether to legalize sports betting in the state. Petitioners filed 9 ballot proposals on the issue. The St. Louis Cardinals, St. Louis Blues, St. Louis City Soccer Club, and Kansas City Royals are behind the push. Efforts to pass a law allowing sports betting have failed for years in Missouri's legislature, so the teams want to take the issue directly to voters. 2 weeks after a newspaper discovered a security flaw on a Missouri State website, Governor Mike Parson's administration has hired a company that performs a data breach and credit monitoring service. The state signed a contract with Identity Theft Guard Solutions. The pricing sheet shows it would cost taxpayers about $4.5 million to notify the teachers of the potential breach and provide them with credit monitoring. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch discovered the flaw that potentially exposed the social security numbers of an estimated 100,000 Missouri teachers. Governor Parson ordered the Missouri State Highway Patrol to investigate the journalist who uncovered the flaw. Still ahead, we're going to hear why COVID-19 vaccine dosage is based on kids' age and not weight. And a potential COVID vaccine requirement is inching closer to becoming reality.
Area here /pledge to learn how.
The number of people who've died from COVID-19 worldwide has surpassed 5 million. The global tally of deaths from Johns Hopkins University is now at 5,425,000. The highest toll in the world is in the U.S., more than 766,000, followed by Brazil and India. The FDA has given emergency use authorization to the first COVID-19 vaccine for younger children. Now it's up to the CDC to decide whether to recommend the vaccine for this age group. It'll be discussed in a meeting tomorrow. Some parents have had questions about why the dosing size for the vaccine is based on a child's age and not their weight. Mandy Gaither explains.
If recommended by the CDC, Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine would be the first cleared for use in children ages 5 to 11 in the U.S. The vaccine would be administered in 2 doses given 21 days apart, but each dose would just be a third of the size of the one given to people 12 and older.
Vaccines are not administered based on weight like other therapeutics are.
So why not? Public health physician Dr. Chris Purnell says the dosage size varies depending on the child's immune system.
Vaccines really are based on the developmental stage or age of the immune system in a younger person. That's why you see the differences in the cutoffs at the ages.
Trials have shown the 2 smaller doses of Pfizer's vaccine generated just as strong immune response in children as the larger doses given to people over 12. Purnell says parents of young children shouldn't worry about the size of the doses.
So a parent who has an 11-year-old, regardless of size, your 11-year-old should receive the authorized dose for that stated age.
Pfizer says there's also potential to lower the dose of its COVID-19 vaccine for children ages 12 to 15 in the future. But right now, the company says their key goal is to provide protection with a safe and effective vaccine. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Pfizer has packaged separate vials of vaccine for kids ages 5 to 11, which have orange labels. Purple labels are being used for vaccines for people ages 12 and older. The federal government is one step closer to requiring many employers to vaccinate employees or test them weekly for COVID-19. The rule applies to private companies that employ 100 or more workers. The Office of Management and Budget completed its review of the emergency rule today, and it'll be published in the Federal Register within days. The Labor Department's regulation also requires employers to give workers paid time off to get vaccines and to recover from any side effects. Any workers who opt for testing instead of vaccination must wear face coverings at work. The new standards are defined as a minimum, meaning companies are allowed to go further by requiring vaccines and not allowing weekly testing as an alternative. Employers that fail to comply can be fined up to nearly $14,000 per violation. Later, the holiday season is unofficially getting underway as we learn the theme for this year's Joplin Christmas Parade.
But first, we got to track a few more gloomy days before we get a chance to clear out and warm things back up. Full forecast up next.
Win your Joplin and Pittsburgh.
leave it to Mother Nature to give us a complete 180 in a matter of 24 hours or so. We went from a nice Halloween to wrap up the month the other day to a gloomy start to the month of November. Plenty of cloud cover and the rain chances too. That will certainly do the trick. At least we're getting a break in the rain chances, at least from our vantage point, from our live shot over at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri, late on this Monday night. But this, again, a big turnaround after we had beautiful skies the other day. A lot of cloud cover today once we got into the late morning and certainly this afternoon and evening. A few waves of rain making its way through. It hasn't been heavy rain, thankfully, but it's been accumulating in some spots, with the vast majority of us picking up maybe a trace if you got underneath any of these showers. But when you average out the entire area, we're about 1/10 of an inch. We're not quite done with the rain chances just yet, though, even though we are seeing at least more mostly cloudy skies out in southeastern Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. If you want to argue where a few showers might try to hold on before we get a bit of a lull in the action overall overnight, maybe a few showers around Table Rock Lake, Grand Lake, the Arkansas state line, but most of us look like this. A lot of cloud cover up top, wet roads shore from 7th and Range Line, but at least we're dry in the city of Joplin. But look at how cool it is, not almost cold. 40 in Joplin, even with a light east breeze at 7 miles per hour, it's making it feel like the mid-30s. So a bit of a wind chill for our first day of November, or even going to the first night of November 2021. Upper 30s to lower 40s. That's where most of us sit. That's where most of us will pretty much stay as we go throughout the course of the night, as long as this cloud cover holds tough as we go throughout the course of the night. Looking at the big picture, though, nothing immediately jumping out at the surface. We have high pressure in Nebraska. All that's doing really is keeping that northeast breeze in place to keep in the chill as we go into tomorrow morning. But it's upstairs that I'm watching as well. One disturbance that brought in the clouds and rain today, that's on the way out. Another disturbance quickly coming out of California and Nevada. That's the next one that will keep us cloudy for tomorrow and bring in another chance for rain as it comes on in. Again, though, we're looking at a bit of a break in the rain chances, maybe a few random spots of drizzle, but nothing too threatening as we get your morning drive started. But definitely want the jackets, since we'll be starting out in the upper 30s to near 40. Even with mostly cloudy skies in place for tomorrow, I still think we have a chance to get back into the mid and even upper 40s for highs. But once we go deep into the afternoon, that is when some of those rain chances out west will start building right back in. 39 in the morning, 45 by noon. And with a lighter east breeze at 5 to 10, that still means we'll only make it to about 48 degrees for the afternoon. The second wave coming in will give us our best shot for rain and storms for the week tomorrow evening through tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. Then I'm expecting things to finally start drying out, maybe clearing out a little bit, but we'll still keep highs in the upper 40s for Wednesday. For the next 2 days, though, let's say another 1/10 to half an inch of rain. So we're not looking at big washout rains on the way as this second wave comes on through. But you can see as soon as it clears out going into Thursday, that's setting us up for digestion to return. That will result in a nice weekend and a chance to warm things back up. In fact, I think we'll be in the lower to middle 60s by Saturday and certainly by the early next week. But 48 tomorrow and Wednesday, Dow. We're back in the 50s starting Thursday, but Thursday morning and Friday morning, 32 to 34 degrees. Got to keep an eye on those numbers. That still looks like it'll be our first frost of the season.
That could put some outside plants in danger.
Got to watch that closely.
Thanks, Nick. It is November 1st, so goodbye Halloween decorations. Hello, wreaths and mistletoe. Maybe, not quite, but the holiday season is getting underway, at least for Freeman Hospital. The hospital today announced the theme of the downtown Christmas parade. Parade goers and participants will be cruising to Christmas this year. You can register for a float online. We have the link in this story on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. The Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign is underway. The bell ringers are a ubiquitous sign of the holidays as they station outside of stores, raising money for the work the Army does throughout the year.
People tell us thank you for what we do, but I always look at it, we can't do it without what the public does for us, which enables us to do what we can't do.
Salvation Army is looking for volunteers to ring the bells at the Kettle locations. You can find registration information on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up in sports, Missouri Southern basketball kicks off their season tonight, and Parsons has found success in year 2 under head coach Jeff Scheibe. Danny Terzer catches up with the team next.
Denver Mattress today. Parsons Vikings are in year 2 under head coach Jeff Scheibe. They have more than double as many wins this year than last and have won a playoff game. We caught up with the team to learn more about the impressive turnaround.
A lot of people outside of our players and our coaches, I guarantee you, did not expect us to be in the position that we're in right now.
Last year, in Jeff Scheibe's first year as head coach, Parsons finished 3-6.
I think that's added a little bit of fuel to the fire. We use that as motivation to, ignite us every day at practice, ignite us every day or every Friday night.
This year, they have more than double the amount of wins. Parsons is 7-2 and has won the last 5 in a row.
A turning point in our season was early in the summer. We went to a Pittsburgh State team camp and really built a lot of team chemistry, team camaraderie, and we had a lot of reps. And I thought that's where we really came together as a team, and it kind of ignited us and propelled us through the rest of the summer into the beginning of this year.
We were able to click, and like a lot of people were buying into what was going on and wanting to win.
The team also got to work in the weight room over the summer, and it's paid off. The Vikings won their first playoff game since 2018 last week.
Our defense has just absolutely carried us through the majority of this season, and being more physical, tackling better has just, really helped us, took us to that next level.
Everyone is stepping up.
We're going to start 5 sophomores on offense Friday night at Girard, and that group has really stepped up and played a huge part in our success. Those sophomores are making big plays on Friday nights, and if they can continue to do that, they're going to be a special group here.
It's been quite the turnaround, but the Vikings aren't done yet.
I'm trying to do what the class of 2018 couldn't, which is get to the championships.
The Vikings have a huge game coming up in the regional round of the state tournament. Parsons is on the road against undefeated Girard on Friday. The Pittsburgh Purple Dragons are also still alive in the playoffs, coming off a 63-0 win over Casey Turner last week. That win set a school record for most points scored in a playoff game. Running back Grant Rolfs had 5 carries for 129 yards in the win. He's been a key piece to the Pittsburgh's offense all season long. Through 9 games, Rolfs has racked up over 1,000 rushing yards. He's averaging over 100 per game, and he's got 13 touchdowns.
Grant has stepped up and had a phenomenal year for us at tailback. His intelligence is probably what sets him apart. He just understands it. You got to tell him at one time, and he'll remember it the rest of his career. You can't say enough about the type of person he is, the way he prepares, and the way he plays the game. He just plays it the right way with great passion, great energy, but it's never about him. It's always about the team.
The Kansas City Chiefs are back in action for a Monday Night Football matchup against the New York Giants. The Chiefs enter the game 3-4 and 4th in the AFC West. At home tonight, Kansas City takes a 14-10 lead at half. The Chiefs win this one narrowly 20-17. The basketball season is gearing up. The Missouri Southern men take the court for the first time this evening. Missouri Southern at Wichita State for an exhibition game. Nice move in the post from Christian Bundy. Ties it at 2. Loose ball here. Lions come up with it. Dishes it from his knees out to Lawson Jenkins, who buries the 3. Cuts it back to 1. Shockers get it to 7. Then the pass out to Alex Jones. How about this bounce? Somehow it drops in. 18-17 now. Then off the steal, RJ Smith pulls up, hits the mid-range jumper. Lions trail by 18 at half. Then in the second half, a Smith 3 pushes it back to 13, but that's as close as they come. Lions fall in their exhibition 90-58. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
We're here to help. Salvation Army.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Corporal Aaron Sparlin served in the U.S. Marine Corps. His hometown, Webb City, Missouri. And we are proud to salute Corporal Aaron Sparlin. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Of course, you can learn about lots of other heroes, more than 3,000 in our database. You can also submit a hero of your own anytime you like. It's very simple. You just go to our website, and you know what that is. It's KOAMnewsnow.com. The new National Wheelchair Football League is here. It aims to help people with disabilities be competitive and play a sport again. As Alan Shope reports, the league is growing and one of the teams is in Kansas City, Missouri.
Come on now. There's about a million reasons why injured former National Guardsman Andy Butterworth wanted to be here on this day.
It's football.
He'd been playing it since he was a kid here in Kansas City, and the game that he loves still gives him chills.
Some of those butterflies, the excitement, the banging, the hitting.
After losing his right leg in Iraq in 2004, Andy says this is a way to feel like that kid again.
Get out there and bang chairs and get some bumps and bruises.
And Andy says this sport is very competitive.
They're good. They know how to move their chair just enough to block you. If you haven't been doing it for very long like I haven't in a wheelchair, it's a little tricky.
Andy is a lineman and receiver for Kansas City in the USA Wheelchair Football League. It's part of Move United, an organization that helps those with disabilities participate in sports.
We're just out here trying to show everybody that we play football the same as everybody else can.
1, 2, 3, cheer! It's 10 teams from NFL cities all over the country, all in Kansas City, promoting a sport that's on the grow.
Come on! You know, guys are out there doing the same exact thing that anybody with 2 legs and 2 arms are doing. We just do it in a different way.
Because players like Andy say no matter what their situation,
there's a way to get out there to be competitive.
And he says sometimes it's that competition that means everything.
Who knew there was such a thing? That's great.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever get knocked out of the wheelchair, but they're playing on pavement. They're in the parking lot.
Yeah, I've seen
These
a
guys are
couple.
tough.
I've seen a couple of basketball wheelchair teams go at it. They get knocked down, but they get right back up and keep going.
The weather not too nice at the moment.
No, we're going to stick with the cloud cover tonight. At least a little break in the rain chances before it comes right back in tomorrow afternoon. 48 tomorrow and Wednesday. At least we're going to get the rain out of here Wednesday. Still watching Thursday, Friday morning, though. Still a potential frost on the table.
Final sports note.
Parsons football has been a really good story this season. 3-6 last year, 7-2 this year. They've been a lot of fun to follow and watch.
Good for the Vikings. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget our morning show starts at 5 a.m. and let's make it a great tomorrow.